The message appeared in our family group chat at 9:47 p.m. on Thursday night, 3 days before Easter Sunday. I was sitting in my home office reviewing loan portfolios for Cornerstone Financial, when my phone buzzed with what would become the most expensive text message my family had ever sent. Easter dinner this year is for immediate family only, the message from my sister Caroline read. We want to keep things small and intimate. Hope everyone understands. Within minutes, the responses started flooding in. Mom, that makes sense, sweetheart. Your house, your rules. Dad, looking forward to it. Should I bring wine? My brother Michael, perfect. Just the core family. My sister-in-law Amanda, can't wait. The kids are so excited. Then came the message that made everything crystal clear. Caroline, just to be specific, Mom, Dad, Michael, Amanda, and the kids. Sarah, we think it's best if you stay home this year. I stared at my phone, reading the message twice to make sure I understood correctly. My entire family would be gathering for Easter dinner, and I was explicitly uninvited. The follow-up messages explained their reasoning. Michael, nothing personal, Sarah. We just want a peaceful holiday without any drama. Caroline, you've been distant lately and we think some space might be good for everyone. Amanda, maybe next year when things are less complicated. Less complicated. That was rich, considering I'd been the one quietly solving their financial complications for the past 18 months. I typed back, understood. Enjoy your day. What they didn't understand was that their intimate family gathering was only possible because of loans I'd personally approved through Cornerstone Financial. Caroline's house, where they'd be enjoying their family-only Easter, was mortgaged through my company. So was Michael and Amanda's home. Even Mom and Dad's refinancing last year had gone through Cornerstone. None of them knew I owned the company. To them I was just Sarah, the family member who'd become distant and complicated after my divorce 2 years ago. The one who didn't fit into their suburban family gatherings anymore. But I hadn't become distant by choice. I'd become distant because every family gathering turned into an interrogation about my personal life, my career choices, and my failure to remarry and settle down properly. Sarah's going through a phase, Caroline had explained to relatives at Christmas. We're hoping she'll figure things out soon. The phase she was referring to was building a multi-million-dollar financial services company from the ground up. Apparently, that was less impressive than her husband Derek's middle management position at an insurance company. Friday morning I called my business partner and CFO Marcus Rodriguez. Marcus, I need you to run a report on our current mortgage holders. Which portfolio? The Bennett family accounts. All of them. Sarah, is everything okay? You sound upset. I'm fine. Just checking on some family investments. 20 minutes later, Marcus sent me the comprehensive report. Caroline and Derek's mortgage. $347,000 remaining balance. Monthly payment of $2,890. Michael and Amanda's mortgage. $289,000 remaining. Monthly payment of $2,340. Mom and Dad's refinanced mortgage. $156,000 remaining, monthly payment of $1,675. All three families had pristine payment histories. All three had received favorable interest rates because I'd personally reviewed and approved their applications. And all three had Easter Sunday payments scheduled for automatic withdrawal. I spent Friday afternoon walking around my neighborhood, thinking about family dynamics and financial leverage. I'd built Cornerstone Financial over 7 years. Starting with a small business loan and growing it into one of the region's most successful independent mortgage companies. We held over $200 million in residential loans and employed 43 people. But to my family, I was just Sarah who worked in finance and couldn't seem to get her personal life together. Saturday evening, I made a decision that would change everything. I called our automated payment processing center and placed temporary holds on 3 accounts, effective immediately. The holds would prevent the scheduled Sunday payments from processing, triggering automatic notifications to the borrowers about failed transactions. Sunday morning, Easter Sunday, I was having coffee and reading the newspaper when my phone started ringing at 8:15 a.m. Sarah. Caroline's voice was panicked. Are you awake? We have an emergency. What's wrong? Our mortgage payment was declined. Derek is at the bank right now, but they're saying there's some kind of problem with the loan company. The automated system says our payment failed, but we have plenty of money in our account. That sounds frustrating. It is. And the worst part is we can't reach anyone at the mortgage company because it's Easter Sunday. Derek is freaking out because he's worried this will affect our credit score. I'm sure it'll get sorted out. But Sarah, what if it doesn't? What if there's some kind of mistake and they think we missed a payment? We've never missed a payment in 8 years. Before I could respond, my call waiting beeped. It was Michael. Caroline, I need to take this other call. I'm sure everything will work out. Michael, what's up? Sarah, thank God you answered. We're having some kind of banking crisis over here. Our mortgage payment bounced this morning, but Amanda swears she set up the automatic transfer correctly. That's weird. It's not weird, it's terrifying. Amanda is crying because she thinks she messed up our finances somehow. The mortgage company's automated message says to call back during business hours, but that's not until Tuesday because of the holiday. Tuesday seems like a long time to wait. Exactly. Sarah, you work in finance, right? Do you know anything about mortgage processing errors? I chose my words carefully. Sometimes payment processing systems have glitches, especially over holiday weekends. Usually everything gets resolved once the business offices reopen. But what if they report us as delinquent? We're trying to refinance our car loan next month. My phone buzzed with another call. Michael, I should take this. It might be important. Sarah, sweetheart, are you having any problems with your bank today? No, Dad. Why? Your mother and I woke up to a message saying our mortgage payment failed to process. We're trying to figure out if it's a bank holiday issue or something wrong with our account. Did you call the mortgage company? We tried, but we just get a recording. The company is called Cornerstone Financial. Have you heard of them? I paused. I might have heard the name. Well, we're supposed to have brunch with the neighbors in an hour, but your mother is too stressed to leave the house. She's convinced we're going to lose our home over a missed payment. Mom's worried about one missed payment? You know how she is about financial obligations. She's never missed a bill in 43 years of marriage. This is devastating for her. Over the next hour, I received 6 more calls from various family members, all panicked about their mysteriously declined mortgage payments. The irony wasn't lost on me. The family that had excluded me from their Easter gathering was now desperately calling me for financial advice. At noon, Caroline called again. Sarah, I hate to bother you again, but Derek is having a complete meltdown. He's convinced this payment error is somehow connected to his work performance review next week. How would a mortgage payment affect his work review? He thinks his boss will find out about financial problems and question his reliability. Sarah, you know about banking stuff. Is there any way to fix this today? Caroline, most financial offices are closed on Easter Sunday. But there has to be someone we can call. Some emergency number or something. I was quiet for a moment, considering my options. Caroline, can I ask you something? Of course. Yesterday you said Easter was for real family only. What did you mean by that? Sarah, we don't have time for family drama right now. We're in financial crisis. I'm not trying to create drama. I'm trying to understand what real family means. It means, look, can we talk about this later? Right now I need to figure out how to reach someone at this mortgage company. What's the name of the company again? Cornerstone Financial. Derek found their website, but there's just a generic contact form and an emergency number that goes to voicemail. Have you tried looking up the company ownership? Sometimes if you know who runs the company, you can find alternative contact information. That's a great idea. Derek, did you hear that? Sarah thinks we should look up who owns Cornerstone Financial. I heard Derek in the background. I'm Googling it now. Okay, it looks like it's privately owned. The CEO is listed as... Oh, that's weird. What's weird? Caroline asked. The CEO has the same last name as Sarah. Sarah Mitchell. But that's probably just a coincidence, right? The line went completely silent. Caroline? Are you there? Sarah. Caroline's voice was very quiet. Derek just found the Cornerstone Financial website. The CEO is named Sarah Mitchell. Okay. Sarah, is that you? Is what me? Are you the CEO of our mortgage company? I took a deep breath. Yes. The silence stretched so long I thought the call had dropped. Caroline. You own our mortgage? I own the company that holds your mortgage, yes. For how long? I founded Cornerstone 7 years ago. Your loan transferred to us when you refinanced 18 months ago. So when we applied for the refinancing, I personally reviewed and approved your application. And when Derek was worried about his credit score because of that late payment last year, I made sure it didn't get reported to the credit agencies. Sarah. Caroline's voice was shaking. Did you decline our payment this morning? I placed a temporary hold on the automatic processing, yes. Because we didn't invite you to Easter dinner? Because you made it clear I'm not considered real family. Caroline started crying. Sarah, we didn't know. You didn't know I owned the company. But you knew I was your sister. We assumed you worked for some big bank as like a loan officer or something. Why did you assume that? Because you never talked about your work. And you drive that old car and live in that modest house. I like my car. And I like my house. But Sarah, if you own a mortgage company, how much are you worth? Enough. Enough what? Enough to not worry about money. Enough to help family members when they need favorable loan terms. Enough to not need invitations to Easter dinner. Caroline was crying harder now. Sir, we messed up. We messed up so badly. Yes, you did. Can you fix our payment? Derek is having a panic attack. I can fix everyone's payments, Caroline. The question is whether I should. What do you mean? I mean your family decided I wasn't worth including in your Easter celebration. Why should I include you in my business considerations? Because we're family. Are we? Because yesterday you made it pretty clear that I'm not real family. My phone was buzzing with calls from Michael, Mom, and Dad. All of them probably figuring out the same connection Caroline had just made. Sarah, please. We were wrong. We were so wrong about everything. About what specifically? About you not being important to the family. About you being distant and complicated. About, oh God, Sarah, we've been treating you like the family disappointment when you're the most successful person any of us know. Success isn't just about money, Caroline. But it's not just about money with you, is it? You've been helping us this whole time. The favorable interest rates, the flexible payment schedules when Derek was between jobs. I helped because you're family. Even when you didn't treat me like family. Sarah, can we start over? Can we fix this? I looked out my window at the sunny Easter morning. My family was probably gathered at Caroline's house right now, their perfect intimate gathering ruined by financial panic. Caroline put me on speakerphone. Hey, you're on speaker. Derek is here and Michael just arrived with Amanda and the kids. Hello everyone. A chorus of voices responded. Hi Sarah. Sarah, we're so sorry. We had no idea. I want to make something clear, I continued. I didn't create this situation to hurt you or to prove a point about money. Then why? Michael's voice. Because I wanted to understand what real family means to all of you. Yesterday you told me that real family was everyone except me. Today when you needed help I was the first person you called. Dad's voice came through the phone. Sarah, sweetheart, we were wrong. We've been wrong for a long time. About what, Dad? About not including you. About assuming you were struggling professionally. About thinking you needed our advice instead of asking if you needed our support. I don't need your support, Dad. I need your respect. Mom's voice tearful. Sarah, you have our respect. You've always had our respect. No, Mom, I've had your concern. You've been worried about me, not proud of me. But we are proud of you. Caroline interjected. We just didn't know what to be proud of. You could have asked. You're right. We should have asked about your work, your life, your achievements. Instead we made assumptions. I made a decision. Michael, check your phone. Your mortgage payment should process successfully now. Are you sure? I'm sure. Caroline, yours too. And Mom and Dad, your account is clear. Sarah, Derek's voice for the first time. Thank you. And I'm sorry for everything. Derek, you don't owe me an apology. You've been a good husband to my sister and a good father to your children. That's what matters to me. But we excluded you. Yes, you did. And now you know that exclusion has consequences. Amanda spoke up. Sarah, would you consider joining us for Easter dinner? I know it's last minute, but we'd really love to have you here. I thought about it. Amanda, I appreciate the invitation, but I don't want to be included just because you found out I'm wealthy. That's not why, Caroline said quickly. I mean, yes, we're shocked about the business and we feel terrible about not knowing. But Sarah, we want you here because you're our sister. Because Easter isn't complete without you. Even if I'm distant and complicated? You're not distant and complicated, Michael said. You're private and successful. We confused the two. And, Mom added, you're patient and generous. You've been taking care of us financially without us even knowing. I take care of people I love, Mom. Even when they don't think I'm real family. Sarah, Dad said, would you please come to dinner? We have a lot of apologizing to do and a lot of catching up on your life. I smiled, looking at the sunny day outside. Hey, but I'm bringing dessert. You don't need to bring anything, Caroline said. I'm bringing dessert because I want to, not because I need to. There's a difference. An hour later, I arrived at Caroline's house carrying a chocolate cake from the best bakery in town. The same family that had excluded me yesterday greeted me at the door with hugs and tears. Sarah, Caroline whispered as she hugged me, I'm so sorry. We've been terrible. You haven't been terrible. You've been human. Dinner was unlike any family gathering we'd had in years. Instead of interrogating me about my personal life, they asked about my business. Instead of offering unsolicited advice, they listened to my experiences. Instead of treating me like the family project, they treated me like the successful CEO I'd become. Sarah, Dad said as we sat around the table, can I ask you something? Sure. Why didn't you tell us about Cornerstone Financial? Because I wanted you to know me as your daughter and sister, not as your mortgage holder. But we could have been proud of you, bragged about you. Dad, your pride in me shouldn't depend on my bank account. It doesn't, Mom said firmly. We're proud of you for who you are. But Sarah, we're also amazed by what you've built. Why shouldn't we celebrate that? You can celebrate it. But you can't let it be the only thing you celebrate about me. As the afternoon progressed, the conversation became more natural. My nieces and nephew, initially shy around their suddenly important aunt, warmed up when they realized I was the same person who always remembered their birthdays and helped with school projects. Aunt Sarah, my 8-year-old niece Emma asked, are you rich? The table went quiet, everyone waiting for my response. Emma, I have enough money to help people I care about and to do work I enjoy. That makes me very fortunate. Are you richer than Daddy? Derek laughed. Emma, Aunt Sarah is much more successful than Daddy. But does that make her better than you? Smart kid. No, Emma. Success isn't about being better than other people. It's about using your talents to help others and make the world a little bit better. Like how you helped with our house? Like that, yes. After dinner, Caroline and I found ourselves alone in her kitchen, cleaning dishes. Sarah, can I ask you something personal? Go ahead. Are you lonely? The question surprised me. Sometimes. Aren't we all? I mean, with your divorce and building this big business, do you feel like you're missing out on the family stuff we all have? I considered the question carefully. Caroline, I chose to build something meaningful with my life. That meant making sacrifices and prioritizing differently than you did. I don't regret those choices. But do you want what we have? The marriages, the kids, the suburban life. I want what makes me happy. Some of that overlaps with what makes you happy and some of it doesn't. And what makes you happy? Building something that lasts. Helping people achieve their dreams of homeownership. Having financial security and independence. And yes, having family relationships that are based on mutual respect rather than obligation. Caroline smiled. I think we can do better on that last part. I think so too. As I prepared to leave that evening, the whole family gathered at the door. Sarah, Mom said, we want you to know that you're always welcome here. Not because of your business success, but because you're our daughter and sister. And, Michael added, we want to know more about your life. The real details, not just the surface stuff. I'd like that. One more thing, Caroline said. Next holiday, we're not making any guest lists without talking to everyone first. That sounds fair. Dad hugged me tightly. Sarah, I'm proud of the woman you've become. I should have told you that more often. You're telling me now, Dad. That's what matters. As I drove home, I reflected on the day's events. My family had learned that excluding me had financial consequences they hadn't anticipated. But more importantly, they'd learned that I was a person worth including regardless of those consequences. The mortgage payment drama had been resolved. But the relationship dynamics had shifted permanently. They now knew I was successful and capable of taking care of myself. I now knew they were capable of apologizing and changing their behavior. Monday morning, I called Marcus to debrief on the weekend's events. "So let me get this straight," he said. "You held up their mortgage payments to prove a point about family inclusion?" "I held up their mortgage payments to demonstrate the consequences of exclusion. And it worked. It opened a conversation that needed to happen." "Sarah, that was either brilliant or completely insane." "Maybe both. But Marcus, they needed to understand that relationships have consequences. They couldn't keep treating me as optional family while expecting me to treat them as priority family. And now we're building something more honest. They know who I really am, and I know they're capable of respecting that person." The following Sunday, Caroline called to invite me to lunch. "Just the two of us," she said. "I want to hear about your business, your goals, your life. The real details, not the polite small talk we've been doing for years." "I'd like that. And Sarah, no more family events without you. You're not optional family. You never were." That lunch turned into a 3-hour conversation about everything we'd been too polite or too proud to discuss before. Caroline learned about the challenges of building a business, the satisfaction of helping families achieve homeownership, and the loneliness that sometimes came with success. I learned about her fears as a mother, her pride in Derek's steady progress at work, and her regret about not being a better sister during my divorce. "Sarah," she said as we parted ways, "I have one more confession." "What's that?" "I've been bragging about you all week. I told my neighbors, my book club, even Derek's boss. My sister owns a mortgage company and I had no idea how amazing she was." "Caroline." I know. You don't want to be loved just for your success. But Sarah, can't I be proud of your success and love you for who you are?" I smiled. "Yes. You can do both." 6 months later, family gatherings had completely transformed. Instead of avoiding questions about my work, I shared stories about interesting clients and business challenges. Instead of offering unsolicited advice about my personal life, my family asked how they could support my professional goals. Most importantly, invitations were never assumed. Every gathering included a conversation about who would be attending and why, ensuring that no one felt excluded or taken for granted. The Easter incident, as it became known in family lore, taught us all that relationships require intention and respect. Love isn't enough if it's not accompanied by consideration and inclusion. And sometimes, the most valuable lesson you can teach people is that excluding you comes with a cost, not because you're vindictive but because you're valuable. My family learned that I was worth including not just because I could help them financially, but because I brought something unique and important to our relationships. They learned to see me as a person, not a project. I learned that sometimes you have to demonstrate your value before people will recognize it, and that's okay. What matters is building relationships based on mutual respect rather than assumptions or obligations. The mortgage payments never failed again. But more importantly, the invitations never stopped coming, and they always included a genuine desire for my presence rather than a polite obligation to extend them. Sometimes the best investments aren't the ones that pay financial returns. Sometimes they're the ones that pay dividends in respect, understanding, and authentic family relationships.